Listen, as a casual fan of Disney, I have my fair share of favorite Disney movies and least favorite. And among those least favorite movies, The Princess and the Frog has always been among them. Even with the shorter scope of Disney princess movies, it still remained close to the bottom. In fact, I went to see this movie in theaters when it first came out, and according to my parents, I was excited to see it. But the only thing I can vividly remember about this movie while watching it in theaters is waking up to Neo singing his heart out in the end credits. It was lights out for me in this theater. Like, this movie put me to sleep. So, what if I told you that after watching this movie in my adulthood, it has quickly become one of my favorite Disney movies ever? The Princess and the Frog is one of the most underrated Disney movies. And yes, while it does have valid criticism surrounding the movie, many of which I understand, I still think it doesn't get the credit it so very much deserves. It's gorgeous, the soundtrack is great, the characters are fun, and the themes are inspiring. And you can tell this movie is filled with as much love as it was made out of. And this isn't nostalgia talking because again, I did not like this movie growing up. I'm making this mostly to yap about how much I like the movie now, but also to show you why I've come to love it, explain why it should be more appreciated among Disney movie lovers, and perhaps why it isn't, and influence those who had previously neglected the movie, like I had, to give it another chance to light its way into your heart. The characters all look distinctive and the animation is beautiful. It's filled with that traditional 2D charm, you know? Or maybe you don't. I wonder why that could be. Anyway, it makes sense that the movie would look good considering the film was directed by Ron Clements and John Muster, who had left Disney back in 2005, but returned in 2006 per the request of John Lasseter, the new chief creative officer for Disney at the time, with the promise that they could make this film in any animation style they wanted. In the official art book, Lasseter states, quote, "John and Ron are Disney animations," end quote. And he was right. These guys are no joke, as they previously worked on films like The Little Mermaid, Aladdin, and other Disney classics. The entire movie is made by people who knew how free and creative you could be with 2D animation and used it to their full advantage. The best example of just how amazing the visuals in this movie are is during the songs. Almost There is done mostly in a different style than the rest of the film. As you might have noticed, it's reminiscent of the magazine clipping Tiana's father gave to her when she was a little girl. The idea for the visuals in this sequence was pitched by Sue Nichols. According to a blog post I found, Nichols wanted, quote, Tiana to enter a fantasy world inspired by that magazine clipping, end quote. Her inspiration for the style of this sequence was Aaron Douglas, an African-American painter who was a staple of the Harlem Renaissance, which was a cultural explosion of black art of all kinds in the 1920s. He's also lovingly referred to as the father of African-American art. Other interesting facts about the sequence is that it had a larger team to make it than what was usual at the time because of its complexity, and it was one of the last things animated for the movie. Other notable visuals for the movie are in the sets, like Mama Odie's place, which we know is a boat in a tree in the bayou. It's zany and nonsensical. It's definitely not a place a 102-year-old lady should be living in, but this is Mama Odie we're talking about, so it suits her pretty well considering. The bayou is a very interesting setting to me because the look sort of changes depending on the mood of the story. We go from scary to lively to cozy to romantic to depressing. I believe Bambi was an inspiration for the look of the bayou and other sets as well.
The setting in New Orleans lends itself so much to a painted background. The backgrounds actually become quite impressionistic.
What we did on this show mostly was to research older Disney movies that we felt were very magical, like Bambi. What they did in Bambi was they more painted how it feels to be in a forest instead of painting the actual forest. So we painted what it feels like to be in New Orleans. You leave out the extraneous stuff and just put in the stuff that feels like that is the essence of New Orleans.
And we of course can't forget New Orleans, which is the main setting in the film. They make New Orleans look so entertaining in this film. True to the song at the beginning of the movie, there's people playing music, people dancing, interacting, having fun. They make the city seem so boisterous and lively.
Can't miss the fact that it is a city where music plays a huge part, not only in the clubs, but it literally pours out into the streets.
Ron and I had never, either of us, ever been to New Orleans in our life. So before we ever put pen to paper, really, in terms of the script, we did, it was about a week to 10 days down there.
I kind of want to take a trip out there myself. Also, there's this really pretty shot where Ray is guiding the crew to Mama Odie's and the fireflies are flying over these wet dandelions. It's so pretty. I love everything about this shot. My favorite visuals, and arguably the best in the film, are shown in the musical number Friends on the Other Side. This scene is so cool. I love the way Dr. Facilier moves and dances along with the shadow. Even the way the dolls move and how it's so loose and free, it's all so mesmerizing. The scene also has some sneaky foreshadowing within it. Like the card Dr. Facilier hands to Naveen has him lounging in a pile of money that's suspiciously shaped like a lily pad. And the backs of the cards have subtle frog designs on them too. Everything during Naveen's transformation looks incredible, like Invincible fans wish. The shop is creepy looking as is, but when the deal is made, it's not even a shop anymore. Like behind Naveen, there's no longer an open space, but a wall of floating masks bumming at him.
You kind of lose all sense of space, and it becomes just color and shapes. The audience just accepts it because it's 2D, it's animation, and you just kind of go with it.
Since this is the visual section, I feel I should also talk about Tiana's and Naveen's frog designs. I'll talk about their human designs later. Frogs are some of the ugliest looking animals to exist, so it's pleasantly surprising that Naveen and Tiana's frog forms are actually cute. Naveen's frog form has teeth, and he's the only one, which makes sense considering Naveen's always cheesing, just showing off all 32 whenever he can. Also, while editing, I just realized that in the newspaper, they even make it a point to talk about his sparkling teeth. So
yeah, I didn't want it to be that Warner Brothers frog, you know.
Right.
And I actually went down to our animation research library and had them pull up model sheets of every other Disney frog that had ever been done, so I could see what people had done before, and recognize that, you know, I didn't want to do any of those frogs. Yeah, you know, it's kind of fun because, you know, Naveen is a human. I have a picture of him here somewhere. Let's see. Naveen is a human, you know. It was all about this super handsome, charming guy with these big, thick, kind of Jonas Brothers eyebrows, and we thought, okay, if we're going to translate this character into a frog, what are the features that we want to take? What are his most distinguishing features that we can use? Well, frogs are all eyes and a big mouth, so I thought, well, let's take the eyes and the mouth and bring them to the frog. Well, how do you make these, you know, the distinguishing features of his eyes and mouth are eyebrows and teeth, which you don't think of when you think of a frog. So we found a way to give, you know, Naveen the frog sort of these eyebrow shapes on his brow ridge there that are more like the spots on his leg, just color patches on his eyes, but they give the impression of eyebrows. And then he has these pearly white teeth.
And hey, we've all had a thing for animated anthropomorphic animals at some point in our lives, right? Right? So it wouldn't be a crazy thing of me to say that I think Naveen's frog form is, you know, you know what? Never mind. We're getting off topic. I love the way Tiana and Naveen move as frogs. It's so smooth and their mannerisms translate well through their frog forms. They're also very expressive, especially Naveen, and fun fact, apparently Naveen still thinks he's good looking as a frog. I love that for him though. You go off, King. Or should I say Prince? Yeah, I know. No need for the applause. I don't think any other Disney princess movie has been as visually extravagant as The Princess and the Frog. I watched The Princess and the Frog and then Tangled right after, and as a massive Tangled fan, I feel it would be cruel of me to tell you to watch Princess and the Frog and then Tangled right after, because of how different they look. And after only being fed CGI and live action for almost 2 decades, I cannot tell you how refreshing this movie is to look at. The soundtrack is probably the most underrated part of this movie. Alan Menken was originally supposed to do the score for the movie, but since he was already working on music for another movie around the same time, Lasseter thought the music would be too repetitive, so instead, Randy Newman was brought aboard the project in 2007. Not only was Newman a jazz composer, but he also grew up in New Orleans.
My mother's from New Orleans, and her family is still down there. And the music is, I find congenial. I'd hear a record as a kid, 15, 16. And if I liked it a great deal, it was very often from New Orleans.
Newman also had experience with making music for Broadway-styled animated movies already. Obviously, he was a good pick for the movie, and let me tell you, this man did his thing. Let's go down the list, shall we? Down in New Orleans, the first version of it is great. I really like it. The more I listen to it, the better it gets. It's groovy, and it does a great job at establishing the setting, which is New Orleans. Next is Tiana's version of the iconic Disney I Want song, Almost There. I did not like this song growing up. I thought Tiana had the worst Disney Princess song. Do I think that now? No. Do I think it's the best? Also no. I still think it's good though. The thing I really like about Tiana's song is how sure she is of herself in it. I think that's what differentiates her I Want song from other Disney Princess I Want songs. There's no I want like Ariel. There's no I want, I wish, I dream, I wonder, when, why, how, where. None of that, because there's no question in Tiana's mind about if she'll achieve her dream or her goal really. She knows she'll get her restaurant. She doesn't have it now, but she's almost there. But yeah, not my favorite song, but I could put it on in the background as I do something. Friends on the Other Side is probably the most appreciated element from this movie, and for good reason. Disney is notorious for its great villain songs, and Friends on the Other Side did not disappoint. Easily one of my favorites from the soundtrack. It's amazing. It starts off great with Dr. Facilier's friends chiming in. It sets an ominous tone that a villain should have. It's eerie and unnerving. Then it kicks into something a little more upbeat and comfortable, as if it's trying to distract you from the creepy voices you just heard. The song does a great job at characterizing Dr. Facilier and the way he manipulates. Most Disney villains try some form of manipulation in order to get what they want, but I think Dr. Facilier is very funny with his. Let's use Ursula as a comparison, as they both have villain songs where they try and manipulate the main characters via a sales pitch. During Ursula's song, she just straight up lies to Ariel, and when Ariel's slow to accept, Ursula starts throwing in the "you're missing out" and limited time offer sales line. While Dr. Facilier does bank off Naveen's naivety, like Ursula with Ariel, he doesn't lie to him. He straight up tells Naveen what he's gonna do, but he speaks the sinister truth in a way you can easily misinterpret, and that's what makes him so slimy. I love it so much.
See, you need green. In order to fulfill you, what you need green. And when I looked into your future, it's the green that I seen. So, I mean, it's a wonderful double entendre, because in order to serve my purpose, I need you to be green too. And so he turns him into a frog. So I mean, you get what you want. You do get what you ask for.
Then after they accept the deal, all the fake niceness is gone as the music gets more intimidating. When Dr. Facilier says, "I hope you're satisfied," it's so condescending, or rather mean-spirited, and for no reason. And finally it ends with, "You got what you wanted, but you lost what you had." And again, they sound like they're mocking Naveen too. It's just a cherry on top for the whole song. When We're Human is the next song in the soundtrack. It really should be more popular. It's really fun to sing, especially Naveen's part, because he has like a really crazy line in it.
A redhead on my left arm, a brunette on my right, a blonde or two to hold the candles, and that seems just about right. Hey, Lewis!
Thousands of women, he said. He said thousands of women. Honestly, everyone's parts are fun to sing. It's a good song, but it's the only song in the movie Naveen and Tiana singing together. And the only song Naveen sings in, period. Which is just crazy, because man's got some pipes on him, and they could have utilized that more. And I'm not saying he and Tiana should have sung a love duet, because there's already a love song in the movie, but at the very least, at the end of the movie, when Tiana's singing "Down in New Orleans," Naveen could have sung a line or two, or joined her at the end of the song. There were options here. Nevertheless, the song's good, I like it. Gonna Take You There is the second shortest song in the movie, and another one that's unjustly forgotten about. Every time I listen to this song, I get so unexplainably happy, and maybe it's because Ray's the one singing the song, and the context of the song being that Ray is helping these strangers, who literally just tried to eat him, by the way. He brings out his whole family to do it. He brings out the community just to help these people. It's so sweet. Oh, I love Ray. We'll get into Ray in a little bit, but yeah, I love him. The song's very comforting. Yep, Ray has 2 solo songs back to back. And you may have noticed I left this song out when I was talking about the visuals. That was intentional, because I have a lot to say about this song. First, let me give you a bit of context. In this song, Ray is singing about his love for Evangeline, who we learn is a star. I always thought his girl had died and he was saying that she was chilling among the stars now. But no, he's talking about an actual star. I rewatched this movie with my brother, and he told me how it was pretty sad that Ray's in love with something that didn't really exist or that couldn't love him back. And I agreed with him at first, until I realized that it really wasn't sad at all. The idea of a firefly unknowingly falling in love with a star that he mistakenly believes is a firefly is so sweet. There's something so sweet about that, and Ray's so sincere about his love for Evangeline, and you can hear it when he sings the song. It reminds me of Misha from Ride the Cyclone. In one of Misha's songs, he sings about the love he feels for his internet girlfriend, whom he's never met. It's so naive, innocent, and sweet. It's the blind trust these characters have for their love that makes the song so romantic. Now, what I'm about to say is a little controversial, but hear me out, okay? Tangled has always been my favorite Disney princess movie, and I've always said that the song At Last I See the Light is the most romantic Disney song ever. Always. No other Disney song could ever come close to it. Not A Whole New World, not the song from Lion King, nothing. Now, I'm not saying Ma Belle Evangeline is a more romantic song than I See the Light, mostly because I can't bring myself to, but I am saying that Ma Belle Evangeline is I See the Light's biggest and best rival. Now, a case could be made that Ma Belle Evangeline is better. I am not making that case. The instrumentals in Ma Belle Evangeline are slow and soft. The lyrics are so personal and sincere to Ray. You know what? I want you to look up the song and really listen to the lyrics and tell me you don't swoon, or at least tear up a bit. If you say you don't, you're a liar, okay? You're just a liar. Even the visuals complement the song well. Lights are used so beautifully in this sequence. The lights from the stars in the night sky. The light Ray gives to the flowers on the lily pad surrounding Tiana and Naveen. And the different colored spotlights that shine on the pair as they dance in the water. All of it, as well as the scene itself, is what makes this song so romantic. Dig a Little Deeper is another fun song. This song is very obviously heavily inspired by gospel music because Mama Odie is preaching and a few y'all ain't listening. This song is so funny because Mama Odie is very clearly telling them what they need, and it goes right over Tiana's head. Like, she does not listen at all. Next is Down in New Orleans finale. I think this song is perfect for the movie to end off on. The finale version is my favorite version of the song. I think it's the best song Tiana sings in. The song sounds more upbeat during the finale, and I think it's significant that Tiana is the one saying it rather than somebody else, because you really feel like Tiana's dream came true, and more, and she got more too. She got her dream and a little something special, and I like that. There are a lot of characters in this movie, and I don't have opinions or important things to say about all of them, so I'm only going to be talking about the characters I want to talk about.
I've been looking for you everywhere. Oh, what a coincidence, Lawrence. I have been avoiding you everywhere.
I feel like he's not really a villain, at least not as bad as Dr. Facilier. He's the reason Naveen's even able to get to Tiana in the beginning of the movie.
You let him go?
The poor devil was gasping, so I'd loosened the lid ever so slightly.
Tony DeRosa, supervising animator of Lawrence, says Lawrence feels he would do better at being the prince. And I kind of get him. You know, no one wants to be pushed around and disrespected all their lives. And I know he was pissed when he first heard he'd have to follow Naveen out of the castle and into New Orleans. Like, if I had to deal with Naveen like Lawrence had to, I'd probably take a sketchy deal from the Shadow Man too. Like, I get it. No judgment here, sir. No judgment here.
Oh, Lewis, give anything to be up there jamming with the big boys.
Lewis definitely isn't my favorite character in the movie, but he's not bad. Like, he's very clearly supposed to be like a comedic relief character, and he doesn't fail at that. He definitely had me cackling a couple times.
Through the deepest, darkest part of the bayou, facing razor-sharp prickle bushes and trappers and hunters with guns? No.
And he and Ray play nicely off each other.
Actually, I feel a lot like that because I'm a big guy. You know, I'm like 6'5", and it took me a long time to come to terms with my size and the fact that I'm just fine being 6'5", you know, and it's a good thing. As Lewis learns, you know, at the end of this movie, you know, he can be an alligator and he can play jazz with these bands and people will love him. And I guess the biggest lesson that Lewis learns is that you don't get what you want, but you get what you need. Please, don't hurt me. I'm fragile. I bruise like a banana. Hold on, where'd she go? Where's my Giselle? Baby, where you
He scares me. but not like I thought.
Not bad for a 197-year-old blind lady. Now, which one of you naughty children been messing with the Shadow Man?
Mama Odie is one of my favorite characters in this movie. She is so funny. Every joke they make with her lands. Every moment Mama Odie was on screen, the scene got better. No joke.
Well, now that's too bad. It's a special candy. Would have turned y'all human.
Well, wait, no, he's
I'm just messing with y'all.
I love her design. I love the way she moves, the way she dances, the way she speaks. Everything about her, I just love her.
Gentlemen, enchanté. A tip of the hat from Dr. Facilier.
Dr. Facilier is one of the best Disney villains ever. He has a great villain song. He's actually intimidating and scary. And he has one of the best, if not scariest death scenes in all of Disney animation. He's also just a very entertaining villain. Like when he's trying to manipulate Tiana by showing her her dream restaurant, but Mr. Finner is there playing music instead of Naveen. Like, why would Tiana want Mr. Finner playing music in her restaurant? That's clearly something Dr. Facilier would think Tiana would want, because he himself would relish in the fantasy of someone who screwed him over working for him. Like, it's clearly something he would want and not Tiana, and I really like that detail. His design takes inspiration from Baron Samedi, which is easy to see. The fact that he wears a fancy coat and vest but no shirt kills me, man. Like,
Did you hear the news?
Lottie is the most loved character in this movie, and it's understandable. I love her too. I think one of the main reasons she's so loved is because she's kind of a subversion of the girl rival trope in Disney princess movies. The most notable examples of what I'm talking about is in Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast. Cinderella's stepsisters are mean and rude to Cinderella, and they're also jealous of her for getting a prince. Same with the village girls in Beauty and the Beast. But Lottie's not mean to Tiana, and nor is she jealous of her. She's genuinely a good sport, considering she didn't get the prince she always wanted in the end.
From reading stories and fairy tales, she just wants to be a princess. In her mind, that is going to make her happy. So she's very self-involved, very selfish, and throughout the film, she's given this gift of realizing that maybe perhaps helping her best friend get her dreams kind of makes it all worthwhile.
She's spoiled, but not rotten. Also, before I forget, I do like her design.
About time I introduce myself. My name Ramon, but everybody call me Ray.
Ray is my favorite character in this movie, and he's also the best. Any other opinion is wrong. He has a really odd yet adorable design. He's named after the famous blind pianist, Ray Charles. He's funny and sarcastic, sweet and romantic, supportive and well-intentioned. He's kind and willing to help strangers. He's even willing to dive headfirst into danger whenever his friends are in need of help.
I'm in love with Tiana.
I knew it.
A restaurant.
Could you have the cute little tadpole? Get the girl. I guess you and your boyfriend got a little carried away. Am I right?
Prince Charming here got himself turned into a frog by a voodoo witch doctor.
Well, there you go. We get this. Little Louis gonna finally play with the big boys. Oh, you got that right, bro. You in love.
I know. It is horrible.
But it's the good kind of horrible. Make up your mind, and you got to tell her how you feel.
Oh my God, my Shayla. My Shayla.
But yeah, man, Ray really is great. I love that they give him the send-off he deserved.
Ray's the greatest. He's he's got that beautiful heart, and the glass is not only half full, it's overflowing, and if not, he'll get the rest.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am Prince Naveen.
Naveen was another part of this movie I didn't care for. I thought he was boring and lazy and not at all attractive. I don't know what I was on. In fact, let's take a look at him together, okay, right? Alright, he got nice eyes, the nose, the smile, the teeth, the hair, eyebrow. They really did their thing. Like all his features make up a really nice looking face. Like, I can't lie, that is a good looking that's a good looking man right there. They did their big one with him. I'd say he's definitely top 3 best looking princes, Disney princes, right? We got, in no particular order, we got Shang, Flynn, and Naveen. Yeah, they I'm over here cheesing. I need to stop.
Alright, I need to stop.
Anyway, I obviously don't share the same sentiments about him now. I actually really like Naveen throughout the film. I love the way he moves in both human and frog form, and I love his voice. Naveen's very flirty, playful, and obviously flawed character, and that's what makes him so entertaining to watch. As much as I usually don't like these types of male leads, I admire Naveen's strongest qualities, like his optimism and adaptability. Naveen's always smiling and laughing. I mean, he smiles so much, his frog form has teeth. But like in a depressing situation, he's someone I'd want to have by my side. He also adapts scarily quickly to being a frog. Like, he's pretty much eating bugs on day one. Like, he's too comfortable about it. Naveen values fun and pleasure and wants to live a life free of responsibilities and work. And so his major flaws are that he's too carefree, selfish, and lacks self-discipline. The way Naveen starts at a very extreme end of his ideals and then is able to meet a middle ground by the end of the movie makes me believe that he has the best character development out of all the Disney princes. Randy Hancock, the supervising animator for Naveen, stated that Disney has a long tradition of princes, but they all fall short of being characters in and of themselves. He says, "The compelling thing to me about Naveen is that he's a flawed guy. He's very self-centered and he's not really paying attention to how anything he does affects anybody but himself." It's really nice to watch Naveen's transformation from a playboy knucklehead into a lovesick, all-rounded man. Also, another thing I discovered while watching this movie is that Prince Naveen is a freak!
Yes, my character, and I was noticing this before, how salacious he seems to be in it.
Looks like we're going to be here for a while, so we may as well get comfortable.
One kiss.
Just one, unless you beg for more. And I'm about to do it again.
No, I never take advantage of a woman. I give women pleasure.
Freaky frog! You're a freaky frog!
That man is a freaky frog!
Very funny. So what now? I reckon you want a kiss?
My most heinous of past opinions was that Tiana was an uninteresting princess and she was boring to look at. First off, Tiana is gorgeous. I absolutely love her design. She has a heart-shaped face, so whenever she smiles, her cheeks get all big and pronounced. It's so cute. She does it in frog form too, I think. Second, Tiana is far from a boring princess. She's passionate, ambitious, confident, and funny. She's also very kind, and like Lottie, she's a good friend. I just realized that Lottie's name is not Lottie, it's Charlotte, but that's also cute. Tiana and Charlotte have cute nicknames for each other. Charlotte calls Tiana Tia, and Tiana calls Charlotte Lottie, and I think that's so cute. Their nicknames are so cute for each other, man.
She asked me in one of the very first recording sessions, she said, "Could you be left-handed? Because I'm left-handed." And I said, yeah, certainly. Why not?
Wait, hold on! Ah! You have a very strong arm, princess.
Tiana understands the value of hard work and doesn't believe in getting things the easy way. She works her whole life to get this restaurant she's always wanted, and despite being friends with a rich girl, who I'm sure if she'd asked, Lottie would have had no problem shaking the cash out of Big Daddy to give to Tiana. And that's admirable. But like Naveen starts off on the extreme side of his values, so does Tiana. Tiana's major flaw is that she's a workaholic. She's constantly working from sundown to sunrise, and she focuses so much on work that she neglects everything else in her life. She doesn't go out, she doesn't hang with friends, and on top of being a workaholic, she's rigid. She's so rigid in her values that when Mama Odie spells it out for her on what she needs, and I mean, she could not have been any clearer, it goes right by her head. Tiana's rigidity is the biggest reason why it takes her so long to understand that what she needs is love. Like, Naveen gets it so much faster than Tiana, but when she does figure it out, it's so rewarding. Like, yes girl, go live your happily ever after. And speaking of happily ever after, now, before I start going in on this next section, I just want to preface that I don't think all Disney princesses should have romance in their movies. That shouldn't be a part of every princess's story or happy ending, and I get that. I also understand that not everybody values or cares for romance in the movies that they watch, good or bad, and that's fine. But that's not me. Naveen and Tiana are very different people at the start of the movie. Naveen's a frisky, lazy playboy, and Tiana's a solemn, dogmatic hard worker. So it's no surprise that when these two meet and are forced to work together under already unfortunate circumstances, they can't stand each other. Especially since Naveen's a jerk when they first meet.
A waitress? Well, no
No wonder the kiss did not work. You lied to me.
I never said I was a princess.
You never said that you were a waitress.
All broke, and you had the gall to call me a lie?
It was not a lie. I am Naveen, Prince of Maldonia, and she is Tiana, the waitress.
Do not kiss her.
You know, waitress, I finally figured out what is wrong with you. Killjoy.
What'd you say?
Nothing. Stick in the mud.
But even with Naveen steady getting on her nerves, she doesn't just take it. She gets on him too. Like when they first enter the bayou and Naveen's going on and on about her being a waitress and not a princess and how she lied to him. And then to her face, he tells her that he's not going to hold up his end of the deal of giving her money for the restaurant. And then he expects her to help him out when the alligators are trying to eat him.
Lower the vine.
Find your own tree.
The audacity. The first real vulnerable moment they have together is when Tiana's cooking for the group and she puts Naveen to work, gets in the mints, and he opens up about how he doesn't know how to do anything because everything's done for him in the castle. And Tiana responds by complimenting his mincing and lightens the mood with a joke. And right after this, we get the scene. Now, I've already talked at length about Ma Belle Evangeline, the song, and the visuals paired with it, but let's get into the subject of the scene. Look, you know the drill. Ray starts singing about his love for Evangeline, and Naveen, getting swept up in the mood, the feelings, the vibes, pulls Tiana into dance, but she hops away, saying, I don't dance. Same. He charmingly pulls her back in, saying, if I convince, you can dance. Oh my god, bro. No one will ever understand. No one will ever understand. Oh. As a self-proclaimed romance connoisseur, I've consumed less than a healthy amount of romance content, and I can't tell you how many corny lines I've come across. Like, so bad they crush your trust in with cringe. So it's pleasantly surprising that Naveen dishes out an actual cute line. It's not playboyish or trying to be hot or attractive, it's just cute and honest. Anyways, back to the scene. It's cute, man. And Tiana's awkward and stumbling over her own feet, and Naveen's patiently guiding her through the dance. Then he takes her into the water and they're twirling around while Ray and Lewis offer support in the moment. Then the cuties jump out of the water and around Evangeline and Tiana's giggling. It's just so, you just gotta watch it. To fully get it, you gotta watch it. It's just so stinking cute. The scene ends with them getting swept up in the moment and Naveen leans in for a kiss and Tiana's like, you're about to get married to, my best friend, but, Lottie's got herself a good dance partner, she rejects him, and he's actually disappointed? Literally right after the scene, Naveen gets snatched up by, the shadow monsters. Maybe it's just me, and, maybe it's just that I'm crazy, but he panics, and he calls for Tiana, by her name, and it's the first time he calls Tiana by her name in the movie.
Tiana!
Naveen! And it's in a state of vulnerability, and I don't know, it just adds something for me. But, maybe I'm the crazy one. Maybe I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Speaking of vulnerability, Naveen's looks, the way he looks at Tiana is so... Men who yearn is a bit of a common topic with romantics nowadays, and Naveen has that yearning look down to a science. Multiple times throughout this movie, he looks at Tiana like he likes her, he wants her, he needs her. And the only other Disney man who has that look of yearning down is Tarzan. That man is an unashamed, passionate yearner. But yeah, back to Naveen, he's constantly looking at her in the bayou, at Mama Odie's, in the boat. And speaking of the boat is where we get full-blown lovesick Naveen. They can't make it onto the boat, and Naveen opts out of the festive activities for now and looks... Hold on, am I seeing that right? Is that a shy-looking Naveen? Naveen? Shy? After a while, he brings Tiana to a dinner date he set up for them, and he's tripping over himself and stumbling over his words. Telling her how he's dated thousands of women. Thousands? Thousands? I get it's hyperbole, but for you to hyperbolize it to be thousands of women, it had to be a lot. Ugh. But anyways, he's actually nervous and trying to impress her, when past Naveen would have been all over that, talking about some let's get comfortable. And I love how he's so timid. I love that, man. I live for this, you don't understand. This is my stuff. This is my jam. This is my bread. This is my butter. For romance to work, you really need to have the audience believe in this couple. Believe that these two people can work together. And Tiana and Naveen work really well together. Naveen's all play and never had to work because things were done for him. But Tiana puts him to work. She gets in the mints. Terribly, but he still contributed to the meal they ate together. He got to enjoy the fruits of his labor, or however that phrase goes. And throughout the movie, Tiana is constantly being told to chillax and have fun, but the only person who's able to get Tiana to do that is Naveen. Like in the scene with the frog hunters, he's over here acting a fool the entire time, and he makes Tiana laugh just by being himself. If she were with anyone else or by herself, she would have taken this moment 100% seriously and probably would have been in complete panic. But with Naveen, she joins in on the tomfoolery. He gets her to dance, laugh, have fun. And I know there are some Naveen haters or naysayers that'll say, oh, well, a man can't change today. And sure, this change in romance does take place in a very small amount of time, but 1, this is a fairy tale. Suspend disbelief and have some imagination. Christ. 2, it's 3 days, actually. And 3, he does. And does. He said that he's willing to do whatever it takes to get Tiana her restaurant. And those aren't just empty words. During their dinner date, Naveen presents Tiana with a mixed platter that he minced himself. And it's considerably better than his first try, which means he put in work and practice to make it look good for her. Even at the end of the film, in Tiana's restaurant, he proudly delivers a minced platter to his parents. Usually, movies like this would end after the wedding, and we'd have to imagine that the couple lived happily ever after. But in this movie, we're shown that Naveen doesn't revert back to a lazy bum. No, when Tiana brings out that hammer, he doesn't even complain. He puts on a smile, rolls up his sleeves, and gets to work. Tiana too, she doesn't go back to neglecting everything just to work. No, you see her enjoying herself. She's dancing on top of a restaurant at the end of the movie. They actually might be the best Disney couple ever. Like, yeah, maybe I have to rewatch all the other movies and, compare. But as of right now, to me, they're the best Disney couple. Like, they make each other better. And they match each other's freaks. Like when Tiana's talking about a restaurant and Naveen's genuinely into it. He's excitedly throwing out suggestions and Tiana's happily going along with it. During their first marriage, when they turned humans, and you already know what the scene is, but Tiana pulls Naveen in and he's all into it, and just roll the clip.
A princess. You just kissed yourself a princess.
And I'm about to do it again.
They're genuinely made for each other. Obviously they're made for each other. But what I'm trying to say here is that the writers did their thing. They did their thing. Round of applause. Y'all did it. People always talk about how, I can change him. I can change him. Well, Tiana actually changes him. She actually changes him.
Good morning, Tiana.
How do y'all know my name?
You talk in your sleep. And by the way, it would not kill you to play cards with your mother once in a while.
Would you love me if I was a worm? Tiana and Naveen would. They loved each other as frogs, warts and all.
Warts and all?
What's and all?
Warts and all, when everyone started doing the Disney Princesses X Yuzakai's bid, I was one of the ones who were kikiing along with the Tiana Naveen ship. I won't lie. But now it's not funny. At all. Don't even play like that. No multi-shipping tolerated here. Naveen and Tiana forever! I forgot to talk about this song when I was recording the part for the song, so I'm just gonna talk about it now and probably tack it on at the end of the romance section. Never Knew I Needed is the celebrity end credit song for the movie. It's literally Tiana and Naveen's song. This is the love duet they didn't get to have. I love it so much. Let's just take a look at the lyrics together. For the way you took the idea that I have of everything I wanted to have and made me see there was something missing. My accidental happily ever after. Who knew that I could be so unexpectedly, undeniably happier? You're the best thing I never knew I needed, so now it's so clear. I need you here always. This is their song. And you might be like, yeah, no duh. This song was really written for the movie. It's obviously gonna be about them. But you'd be surprised to know how unfitting songs could be for a movie that it was specifically made for. This song will be on my wedding playlist. And if it's not, I didn't get married. Period. Full stop. I don't care what those legal papers say. I don't care if I have the ring on my finger. If this song isn't played at my wedding, I didn't get married. I think the themes in this story are represented by our three main characters. Naveen teaches us that it's great to enjoy life, but it can't all be fun and games. Tiana shows us that being a hard worker is a good quality to have, but don't let it prevent you from having a good time. And Ray teaches us the importance of love. Tiana Tiana's a great role model for kids, and I love the fact that the movie didn't undermine or discourage Tiana's hardworking nature in service of telling her love story. Instead, the movie tells Tiana that it's okay to be in your bag and girl boss, and also get you a man too. So when people say Disney won't give female protagonists a love interest anymore so they can really show that she's a strong and independent woman who don't need no man, I don't get it, because they show it can be done perfectly with Tiana. Tiana's strong, Tiana's independent, and she gets a fairy tale romance too. There are plenty of moments in the story that I love, and talking about all of them would take all day. But just to name a few, when the song Down in New Orleans is sung, the first time when they go, there's some sweetness going around, she's putting powdered sugar on the beignets, and the second time, she kisses Naveen because she's giving him some sugar. I also love the fact that the Finner brothers tell Tiana that she has to top the offer that outbid her with cash, and in the end, she gives them the amount in just straight change. And she's like, you gonna take this money, like exactly how it is.
What's even crazier about this is the fact that she definitely didn't meet the deadline, because like when they're at the boat and they're on their dinner date, she tells them that like she needs the money by tomorrow, right? When they get married in human form, that definitely took a while, because both Naveen's parents are there. His parents' boat ride must have been like at least 2 weeks, at the very least, if not a month probably. So you know it was extra disrespectful because she did not make that deadline. I know that's right, sis.
And there's just so many memorable lines in this movie that I will be quoting because they're just too good. Let's get into the criticisms with the movie, because I think it plays a part into why this movie is so overlooked. To start, during the story development phase for The Princess and the Frog, there were some questionable ideas for the story. The movie was going to be named The Frog Princess. Tiana was supposed to be a chambermaid working for a white family, and her name was going to be Maddie, which people criticized for sounding too close to Mammy. And you might think these people were being dramatic when it came to the name Maddie, but when you think about all the other questionable ideas they had for the movie, you understand where they're coming from. But yeah, they fixed all that up real quick. Other criticisms that concern the movie as it is now are the depiction as voodoo and hoodoo as a bad or scary thing, and I get it. Voodoo has a long history of being villainized and not respected as a religion, so I understand where that criticism is coming from. But also, I feel like they balanced that out with the inclusion of Mama Odie. The fact that New Orleans was the setting in the movie was also criticized because Hurricane Katrina had wreaked havoc on New Orleans a few years before the movie released, and people thought that it took away from those victims' play. Also, it isn't liked for its unrealistic depiction of New Orleans in the 1920s. This is one of the criticisms where I think they're dragging it. Like, it's a fairy tale. Why would we show realistic depictions of our princess getting hate crimed on? Like, come on. Like, no, people don't say this with any other Disney princess. Like, nobody's complaining that Mulan doesn't get, executed because she was in the army when she shouldn't have been. Nobody's talking about how it's unrealistic that Snow White got to rule over 2 kingdoms. Like, give my girl a break. Give my girl Tiana a break. Another criticism, and one that my papa echoes, is that the black princess doesn't get a black prince, but gets a black villain? Now, I can understand this one too. It's important to show good depictions of black love,
especially when there are so many celebrated lackluster depictions of black love, but let's not talk about that.
But also, ain't nothing... okay. Also, ain't nothing wrong with a little... hold on.
I'll say it. Ain't nothing wrong with a little chocolate caramel swirl!
Black audiences are questioning why the prince isn't African American.
What's neat is it's reflective of what New Orleans is this kind of melting pot, and the other idea being we wanted to kind of have these opposites, attracting. And so, those were just things that the story supported, and the backdrop of New Orleans, supported as well. So it really, didn't. I wouldn't call it a controversy. I mean, to me, it was very exciting in terms of who these characters are and how their storyline plays out.
Finally, the biggest criticism, and one that I also back, is that Tiana stays a frog for the majority of her movie. And I know it's not a new thing to turn characters into animals in Disney movies, and it's supposed to be fun, and it is, but Tiana's the only Disney princess that turns into an animal, and stays one, for the majority of her movie. I don't know, having the first black Disney princess be a frog for most of her movie feels a little distasteful. I too wish we would have seen Naveen and Tiana interacting more as humans, but that being said, I do like the movie as it is. In 2003, Disney dissolved their 2D animation unit and announced that Home of the Range would be their very last traditionally animated film. We know this wasn't the case because in 2006, the new president and chief creative officer of Disney Animation Studios at the time reversed his decision and brought back a lot of the animators who had been laid off or had left to work on this movie specifically. When people heard that they'd be working on a 2D animated project, they were ecstatic.
When I found out hand-drawn was coming back, that was like a whole different feeling. It releases endorphins in me.
I was initially like, well, good luck with that, fellas. I'm into doing 3D. But when I thought about a hand-drawn film going on in this building and I wasn't on the crew, there's no way I could let that opportunity pass.
People were genuinely excited to be working on this movie. They brought in all the big dogs to work on this movie.
This is the first time that you've got collectively all the best animators that are in the studio on one film.
When looking at the behind the scenes of this movie, it was clear to me that the people who were a part of making this movie weren't just making it to pander to black audiences, like, here you go, damn. They wanted to make a fairy tale Disney movie with a black protagonist that was just as great and magical as the rest, maybe even better. In the official art book, Hancock says, "We don't have to be afraid of somebody being freaked out because somebody's passionate about an idea. It's passion, and it comes from the same place everybody else's passion comes from. A desire to make this movie great." The Princess and the Frog performed pretty well at the box office. It grossed $267 million worldwide on a $105 million budget. It was nominated for 3 Academy Awards and received other accolades. Even though the movie broke even and was widely praised, it technically underperformed according to Disney standards at the time. Then Tangled came out the following year and made more than 2 times the amount of money The Princess and the Frog did at the worldwide box office. Perhaps that's what sealed 2D animation's fate at Disney.
I hope from this film forward, we never ever get crazy enough to give up on hand-drawn animation.
Coming in with a bang again, and I'm looking forward to doing more.
Was it refreshing to return back to the 2D animation after such a long break?
It was an absolute thrill. It was the best days of my life because we had stopped doing those animated hand-drawn films for about 5 years, 5-6 years, and it was just sad. We were all sad because we thought we should be doing them.
So that's all. If you made it this long, congratulations! I needed to get this out of my system, okay? Ever since my fateful, influential rewatch, I've genuinely fallen in love with this movie, and it took a long time to get there, almost 2 decades, but I've come around. I need more content around this movie. Like, I wish we got like maybe a short, not a sequel, because we know how bad Disney Princess sequels can be, but like a short where, like, I don't know, maybe Lottie's babysitting Taveen's kids while they spend their anniversary together. I think that would have been cool and cute. That way we could have had a duet, like during their anniversary they could have been, you know, singing together or something. I don't know, just something. You know what? I'm gonna say it. I got nothing to lose. The Princess and the Frog is my favorite Disney princess movie ever. That's right! I said it, alright, I said it! You have been promoted! I also want to say that I am sincerely sorry to the Princess and the Frog lovers for how I dismissed and clowned their opinions on this movie, because I have absolutely, the things I was saying about y'all is just crazy, like, and I'm sorry for that. I was blind. I didn't get it, but just so y'all know, y'all have exquisite taste, like immaculate taste. Congrats, you saw it before I could. Then I commend you for that. And to those who watched this and also didn't have a fond opinion of this movie, I hope I was able to change your mind about it, open your third eye, or at least persuade you to watch it again. That's all. Thanks.